Hello there. It's time for dessert. Well, it's always time for dessert. I thought it might be nice this year, instead of doing pie, which everybody does for Thanksgiving, to do something else. But I did want to use cranberries, which are native to the Americas and are the rubies of the Thanksgiving table. So we're making a cranberry upside down cake. It's exactly like a pineapple upside down cake, only prettier because it has cranberries. So what I've done so far is I took my 9-inch cast iron skillet and I melted half a stick of butter and I stirred in and melted into it 3/4 cup of brown sugar. If you don't have a cast iron skillet or another oven-proof skillet, you're going to do that step. When it's done, you're going to pour this stuff into a 9-inch baking pan, like a cake pan. But since I have it, I'm going to go ahead. This way you can make the whole thing in the skillet. But obviously, if you have a non-oven-proof skillet, you're going to have to change it. Then I put 2 cups of cranberries on top. And if I were really artistic, they would be beautifully arranged, but they'll still be delicious because they're red and gorgeous and seasonal. Cranberries to me are like rhubarb. You can only get them at a certain time of year, and they're all the more precious for that. Okay, so that's the bottom, which when we finish, of course, since it's an upside down cake, will be the top. Next, we it's a basic standard yellow cake. So here I've mixed together some butter and sugar. Yes, you can do this in a mixer. We're gonna add 2 eggs. Hello, Ruby. Excuse me, Ruby, this is not for you. Off, goodbye. That's Rhubarb, my cat. She's very interested in Thanksgiving. She's waiting for the turkey. Okay. Then we just kind of beat those guys in. I may need to do a little bit. Yes, a mixer would have been easier. But I'm kind of channeling my mother, who was the upside down cake queen. And she didn't have a mixer when she started making upside down cake decades and decades ago. So this is in her honor. Okay, we're going to use a better spoon for this now because this is a little messy. Okay, there we go. Getting our eggs in. And I'm going to go ahead and do the next step, which is 2 teaspoons of baking powder and a little smidgen of salt. And we stir some more. Really a typical small yellow cake. And if you were doing this with more time or with an electric mixer, you'd probably worry about the lumps, but I'm not going to. Then we have 1.5 cups of flour and 1/2 cup of milk. And we're going to add them alternately, starting with the flour, because that's kind of the way you always do it, to make sure the flour gets really well distributed. See, I have where did I put my little turkey spatula? We just push down the sides. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add some of them. I'm going to add, usually you would do this in more than 2 steps, but I'm just doing flour, milk, flour for the sake of TV. And it'll still taste delicious because it's going to have all those cranberries. And we're going to put in the rest of the flour. There you go, flour. And while I'm stirring, I'll get the last ingredient, which is just a little bit of vanilla. And I never measure vanilla. I haven't mentioned that before. There we go. So that's our cake part of the upside down. I'm going to give it one more smoosh. I have preheated my oven to 350 degrees. In you go, cake. And that just goes on top, or eventually on the bottom, as you will see. I'm just going to throw it all in the middle and then smooth it out with my turkey spatula. Okay, I will be back when I have smoothed this out and baked it. It bakes for about 40 minutes. What you're going to do is just do the normal toothpick test with your cake and make sure that it's done. Don't go too far down or you'll hit the cranberries and it'll always be wet. And I'll be back when it's done. so I'm not filming the inversion because it's a little awkward, but the cake came out of the oven. It looked kind of like a cake. And then all I did was take my pan, invert it over the board, and you can see how pretty it is with the little cranberries kind of sticking out. I think it's beautiful. And I wish you such a happy Thanksgiving. However many people you have, be thankful, be happy, and be well. Bye.